Let's travel, just for a moment. Let's go to the times of Jesus. Jesus is walking city to city on dusty roads, and then he sees a village. The text says, "Now it happened, as they went, Jesus and his disciples, that he entered a certain village." Jesus, most probably tired from the trip, decided to enter a village to renew his strength. And a certain woman named Martha welcomed him into her house. And she had a sister called Mary, who also sat at Jesus' feet and heard his word. But Martha was distracted with much serving. And she approached him and said, "Lord, do you not care that my sister has left me to serve alone? Therefore, tell her to help me." And Jesus answered and said to her, "Martha, Martha, you are worried and troubled about many things, but one thing is needed. And Mary has chosen that good part, which will not be taken away from her." This story is well known. Many have heard of Martha and Mary. A widespread biblical story that left us many lessons, and we wouldn't have enough time to speak about all of them. But I think that it's good for us to remember this story in this time of the year. In a time of end of year, everybody's in a hurry, in a time that many are distracted with much things. Because it is a time that agitation takes over people. Understand, there is a good agitation. What is the good agitation? When you have a worthy purpose, a purpose that matters, as Jesus was saying here, one thing is needed. You have a important thing to do, worthy. So all agitation that involves your search for that is good, because you are trying to reach something good. But there is the bad agitation. It is only motion. It's just to distract, to deceive, as Martha was distracted with much serving, which means there was a lot to be done, and always will be like that. You should not forget this, that there's never lack of service or work. Only the lazy one does not see work to be done. But those who like to work, there's never lack of work. There's always something to do. And when you stop doing something, soon you think about doing something else. However, there are a lot of works or services that distract us from what really matters. And this is what happened in this time of the year. People run as if they were desperate. It's as if they were running against the clock. They think that day, that store will close, that day is Christmas, the other is New Year's Eve. People are running to do their preparations, the hair, the house, the company. It's a party for this or that, or the trip. Before traveling, you need to do this, you need to visit so-and-so, and the wife demands from the husband from the wife, and everybody's in a hurry. And it is so easy in this time of the year to forget what really matters. Then I ask myself, if I was in Martha's shoes, I don't think we should judge Martha just like that, so quickly. Because if you were in Martha's shoes, you just learned that Jesus came from a trip to your house. Most probably, we would focus on preparing food, preparing something, some water for him to wash his feet. We would prepare something. As we are the host, we want to take care of our guests. We want to take care of them. We want to give a good impression. Yes. See how easy it is for us to get distracted with much serving. Not that it wasn't important. But in things we must do, we must choose what is the most important. Therefore, Jesus got to the point of saying, you are worried and troubled about many things, but one thing is needed. In other words, he didn't care about being served by Martha or Mary with good food as a guest of honor. No, he wasn't worried about it. He didn't enter Martha and Mary's house to receive, but to give. And Martha had in her mind that she had to give to him. But in reality, Jesus was there to give what he had, the Word, the Spirit, and she was worried about giving the food or this or that with serving. But in reality, she was losing the most important. And how often this happens to us. Maybe you are running now all over the place, doing somersaults here and there, thinking about everything you must do, going after everything you must do. What about the most important? Let me ask you, have you been making time to be at Jesus' feet? Have you been making time for this, to read the Bible, to pray, to attend the church? Because supposedly this is the time of the year that they celebrate the birth of Jesus. It's not a biblical or official date, just a symbolic date. But you see that the world can put Jesus on a date, on the calendar, and leads everyone to forget about him. See how the world is clever and deceitful. Have you been making time to be at Jesus' feet? Have you been valuing quietness, time of reflection? Because this time of the year is very good for you to reflect, for you to think about your ways, what you have been doing, what you must do differently, what you will do differently. While everyone is running up and down, wouldn't it be more productive for you to choose this time of the year to be a time of quietness and not of agitation? What would be the gain? If you live thinking about what people are thinking about you or to impress people, certainly you will follow the trend. You will do what everybody is doing. You will have to give a good impression because people are looking at you. However, if you are Mary, who sat at Jesus' feet, didn't worry about the sister, and she was misjudged by the sister. If you are Mary, you won't worry about what people think of you, but with what really matters, the most important. Jesus is in my house. That's how Mary thought. When will this repeat again? I don't know if it will ever repeat again, so I cannot waste this opportunity. And you cannot waste the opportunity to always be at Jesus' feet, to seek his direction, to be connected to him. And be very careful with distractions. because you might be in a frantic pace, and you even upset with those who are not helping you, like Martha, even wanting to bring Jesus to the conflict. Listen, tell her. She was so convinced that she was right that she thought she was in a place to give Jesus orders. Tell her to help me. Maybe you are so lost in your much serving that you are even upset with God. You are upset with those who don't keep up the pace with you, or even upset with God because He doesn't make people to see how much work. The human being is so complicated, and God is simple, and that's why He said, only the simple can really appreciate Him, understand Him, and listen to His voice. If today's video helped you and you know someone that could benefit from it, share it with them, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel, you may do so now. See you later.